blitz you right away, or what did they do to kind of necessitate that?
There's a lot of screens on offense from Oregon, and man, I don't know. I guess they just kind of cut us off. Honestly, that's all I see.
I mean, this defense has not given up a ton of chunk plays through the first 7 games, and Oregon had a lot. Was it just more them, more you, kind of what did you say?
No, I feel like a lot of guys weren't doing their jobs, but again, they got a good team, so I mean, you don't. Games previous, you're able to not do your job. Sometimes you're able to get away with it, but against a team like this, it can't happen. So the attention to detail is going to be much better.
What made those screens so difficult for you guys?
Yeah. Honestly, we couldn't get off the field on third down, and then a lot of times their early downs were pretty efficient. So they would get to maybe like a 3rd and 1. Even when we would get them to like a 3rd and long, like 3rd and 10 plus, we still couldn't get off the field, so that was frustrating. That's probably what kept drives going a lot of the time.
Miles, I asked
that 3rd and 17, they get 16, they pick it up. Was that kind of like a back-breaking feeling?
Yeah, that's demoralizing. I mean, and then that's going into the second quarter, I believe. It's just like telling the guys like, hey, we got to get off the field right here. And then they pick it up 16 on the 3rd and 17. It's like, that's frustrating.
Miles, I asked this because why was the tackling just so below average today? Because you guys open field-wise all year long have been pretty on point.
Yeah, I feel like they did a good job of like on screen plays, picking guys up. We got to be able to change the math though. Even though we got to be able to get off blocks, we got to be able to make those tackles.
It's a key to finishing the season strong. Disappointment today, but obviously you guys got a lot left to play for.
Just understand that adversity is a part of life. Like even in life, you go through things on a day that you might not expect to happen. We obviously don't come in here and expect to get blown out, but it happened. So we got to be able to move on from this moment. It'll be a loss. It'll truly be a loss if we don't learn from this.
You guys, the secondary work through when your top 3 corners leave with injury, and you've got Xavier, and you're just shaking around. Like, what's your role in keeping that going?
Man, just next man up mentality. That's why we in practice all week. So even when the twos are in, we still in them guys like they the starters, because at any given moment you could be thrown into the fire. So we preach that all the time. You know, those guys came out and did their job as best as they could.
Tyson, what did you see from him? Shot seems bouncing around.
Man, Tyson been doing a great job. And he always doing what's asked of him. He don't complain about nothing. He just do it, and he's not scared of nothing. So that was good to see Tyson go out there and do that. Sure.
Miles, on the touchdown run, it's hard to not notice that Matt Bailey was on the sideline because his helmet popped off and they ran right into that gap. Is that a coincidence, or did you feel like they were going to attack that?
I don't really feel like they attacked it, but like we were just, I don't think that the call wasn't fitting for that play, honestly. And then it just happened to split right through the middle. So I mean, it is what it is, but we got to be able to be on point even when he does go out.
Miles, how did Oregon line up different from
honestly, nothing. I feel like even on tape they ran a lot of screens, but I definitely don't think that we were going to get that many screens, but we did. And they were going all their runs were east-west, like all the time the backs were trying to bounce east-west, so we knew that we just didn't do a good job of doing our job, like 1 of 11.
How hard is their speed to prepare for, though, Miles, in a sense?
Well, we fast too. We really fast too. But yeah, it was definitely different out there. Real different.
You guys as a defense play stretches of good defense, and it just feels like consistency has just been a little bit off for you guys this year. How do you find that?
I honestly don't have a perfect answer for that. But the best we could do is just get back to the drawing board and try to figure that out in practice.
What's the best way of flushing? How do you flush it?
Man, go over it tomorrow, see what went wrong, and throughout the week just perfecting those errors that we had in this game and still getting better at the things that we were good at in this game. Just not taking anything for granted.
Miles, you were here in 22 and obviously in 23. How do you make November better in 24 than those last 2 years?
Do the same things we've been doing since the beginning of the season. That's the best thing we can do. Don't get discouraged by this loss. Understand like stuff happens sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to be able to keep going one day at a time.
These guys are on today. What do you take away from this?
That I just got to think about I need to get better. I need to put us in better positions as no line, and just get better this next week and keep improving.
Get some opportunities in the red zone. Just what maybe didn't happen to get as many points as you needed out of those situations.
Just execution, and again, I need to get better, and I need to put us in a better position on those, and put guys on the right guys, and then execute from there.
Coach, we want to talk about like when you get in that low red zone, you maybe think about running it more. What do you feel like you guys need to do to unlock that running game a little bit more?
Whatever's called, we just want to do it to the best of our ability, and that's what we're going to focus on going into this week, man. Just keep getting better, keep focusing on the technique, and going into Minnesota. And Oregon's a good team, and give it up to them.
Coach Boomer said that's why Oregon beat you twice. How do you bounce back from disappointment like that?
That's exactly right. We can't let them beat us twice. So we're just going to go into this week, improve, man. Practice really hard. Learn from this film tomorrow. It's hard. Like really study right after trip. I got to look at myself, especially, and get better.
What did you see out of Luke, especially in that first quarter, where it was all kind of coming at everybody, all 11 on the field?
I thought Luke composure. I mean, Luke showed us what he did all year. You know what I mean? All he's done all year. He stays composed. He stays in the game, and I wouldn't rather be blocking for anyone.
You got the one touchdown from Khalil. Did it look like you and maybe Tanner, they gave him a little extra push in the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
What do you guys feel like you got left to accomplish after those disappointments? You feel like you have a lot left?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of season left, man. We just need to keep improving. Take it week by week. Don't want to know if this is upcoming next week, but we got to make sure we study this film.
Our coach said in the locker room, we kind of talked to you guys at halftime just about flipping it like at the start of a game. Like, how did you guys kind of use that going into the second half?
I think we were disappointed in our first half performance. I was disappointed in my first half performance, and we just wanted to play better in the second half.
What's your role here, Josh? Like, as a captain, what's your role in flipping this?
I mean, tomorrow just be very critical, and it starts with myself. It's like I gotta look at myself first, or else I can't blame other people, point fingers, right? And then after that, we just gotta move on. And when we move on, we're gonna go play Minnesota and get better from this week.
I mean, to kind of have this experience after Penn State, did you feel like you guys were able to put that one away quickly and bounce back?
Yeah, obviously we had that bye week after Penn State, so we went to that bye week and really focused on what happened in that game, and we're going to do the same, but it's just with a short time frame, but we're going to do that again.
Josh, you were here in 22. You were obviously here last year.
Yeah.
The last month of the season hasn't gone well.
Yeah.
Just how do you guys flip that, you know?
I think it starts in practice. I thought in maybe years past we haven't practiced as hard, and this last month, and we're going to practice really hard, especially with this loss. We're just going to go as hard as we can and really improve.
What's different about that last month? Is it just because it's been a long season, or
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think I can only speak for this year, and I know this year I'm going to try to attack this practice hard and keep getting better after this performance. So,
With protections for you, what's your role in maybe identifying what you see from the defense and where they're bringing extra pressure? Like, what's your role and how much do you communicate with the sideline?
I mean, I have a big role in deciding and directing the pressure. So if some guy comes free, that's usually my fault, and I'll take those to them.
Just that kind of blitz at the beginning of the game, just take me. What did you see? What are they doing that just kind of hurt you guys?
I think they did a couple things that just put us in, or put them in advantageous positions. They jumped out on us quick, and at one point we were just scratching clawing. So we got to go back to the drawing board, figure out what we need to do to come back next week. Not allow that to happen again.
I mean, this defense for most season hasn't given up like a ton of chunk plays. It seemed like Oregon almost all they had for a while. Just what maybe led to them getting the big games?
Right. I think like I said, I think we need to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. But I think they just did a good job of putting us in positions that maybe we didn't want to be in, or maybe weren't advantageous to us, and we weren't making plays, and so we got to figure out how to go back to the drawing board.
What is it about the screen game that was so difficult for you guys to give you guys so many problems?
Right. They did a lot of false keys with it, so maybe where we were looking, we were going one way, the screen was going the other way, so it was a lot of retracing. We got to figure out a way for that not to be the case.
They had that 3rd and 17. They pick up 16, get it on 4. What kind of moment was that, in your opinion, in this game?
That's a tough one. When you're playing the number one team, you got to get them off the field when you have the chance to get them off the field.
they did a good job of coming out here and executing their game plan, and we didn't. So keep reiterating it, but back to the drawing board.
I mean, back to the drawing board. You guys bounced back from loss to Penn State, and Kreutz said you had the bye weeks, you had a little extra time. What do you have to do in maybe just 1 week to kind of maybe fix the mistakes from today?
Right. Maybe just emphasize to the guys that today happened. We got to look at it. We got to be critical on ourselves. We need to be critical on everything that happened in the game. But as far as just going in tomorrow, it needs to be about making those corrections, not feeling bad about yourself, not feeling down on yourself or anything like that. It's about making the corrections so it doesn't happen again.
The last 2 years, you probably haven't finished the year the way you wanted to. What's the key to finishing strong through the season? So you guys have obviously not to college.
Right. I think it's just to continue to attack every week how we have attacked this week, like going forward in the season. We've done a good job of just going week to week and, the whole 1-0 mentality. So we got to go back in. We got to figure out what we did wrong. We got to fix it. We got to get back to work.
I guess through 7 games, I would think your open field tackling has been pretty on point. All 11 of you guys. Just is that part of going back to the drawing board, or is that part of, hey, this is a game we just got to flush from a tackling standpoint because that wasn't us?
Yeah. I think there's still going back to the drawing board. You got to be critical. You got to understand why you missed the tackle. You need to, analyze that. But at the same point, you can't just spiral or allow that to affect you in a way. So I mean, yes, going back to the drawing board, and yes, continue to work on it throughout the week, but also yes, flushing it at the same time.
We've seen you guys as a defense play stretches of really good defense we saw last week, and then today, find consistency as one of the key voices on this defense.
Right. I mean, that's something we just got to continue to preach. Like you said, we've been consistent at times throughout the season, but we need to figure out a way to just keep putting it in throughout the week by week. And that's something we're going to look at, and we're going to figure out a way to do.
Your secondary depth was obviously tested today. What would you think when Tyson comes in next play? What would you think of those guys coming in?
Right. I think a lot of young guys had to come in. We had some injuries, and I think they did a great job of just stepping up, not being afraid of the opportunity. Obviously Tyson gets the pick, but we had other guys in there who were making plays. I know Sabor, I think that the drive he ended up getting put in, he made the first 3 plays and they were off the field. So, a lot of guys stepped up when they were able to get an opportunity, and that's encouraging to see. But across the board, we got to go back to work this week.
On the touchdown run and made it 28-3, it seemed like Matt Bailey, that would have been a gap that he fit, and he's on the sideline because his helmet popped off. Is that more or less a coincidence, or do you find number 7 would have made that play?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I have tremendous respect and trust in Matt Bailey, so obviously I like him in that scenario. I would like whoever we have in the game in that scenario, but we got to find a way to put ourselves in advantageous positions and execute.